All right, I just mentioned her right before the break. Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is facing serious backlash for bashing Charlie Kirk just a day after he was assassinated. Watch.
Yeah, there is nothing more up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. These people are full of shit, and it's important for us to call them out while we feel anger and sadness and,
Yes.
and have empathy.
There's nothing more blank up, Laura. There's nothing more than that. I mean, this is unbelievable. And there's more. But Omar is now pushing back on any criticism of what she said. Here's a quote. "While I disagreed with Charlie Kirk vehemently about his rhetoric, my heart breaks for his wife and children. I don't wish violence on anyone. My faith teaches me the power of peace, empathy, and compassion." Really? Right-wing accounts trying to spin a false story when I condemned his murder multiple times is fitting for their agenda to villainize the left, to hide from the fact that Donald Trump gins up hate on a daily basis. Republicans in Congress are refusing to let her get away with it. Representative Nancy Mace, again, filing that resolution to censure Omar and strip her of all of her committee assignments. Congressman Buddy Carter supports the move, and here's what he told Fox News Digital. "No one who justifies the assassination of someone with different political views than them deserves to sit on a committee." And Ilhan Omar openly used language that incites violence toward her political opponents. Committees are for serious lawmakers, not hate-spewing politicians. And now President Trump is backing the resolution as well. Watch.
Ilhan Omar, after his assassination, called Charlie Kirk a reprehensible human being. Should she be stripped of her committee assignments?
I would say, I think she's a disgraceful person. I think she's a disgraceful person, a loser. It's amazing the way people vote. I know it's people from her area, maybe of the world. I don't know. They got here and they vote her in. It's hard to believe, but I think she's a disgusting person.
Laura?
She is a disgusting person. Anyone who doesn't wholeheartedly come out and say this is wrong and should never happen to anyone in America is disgusting. We were talking during the break, Smug, you were mentioning, the reason that I think a lot of this has kind of festered on the left and within the Democrat Party, they don't seem to be able to call it out for what it is because there's a complete lack of leadership in this party. Why hasn't someone from their party come out, Harris, and said strongly, get up and do a press conference about this and say, we all need to be on board with condemning this and saying this is never acceptable in the United States of America. It is unbelievable that somebody can say that. But I think a lot of these people now are just trying to, hold on to their followers or the people who support them. They don't want to upset these people. Someone was murdered in cold blood. And this is the response we get from a sitting member of Congress. Absolutely strip her of all of her privileges in Congress there.
You ask the question of the day. Why not one Democrat, not even one, give a news conference and say this is not okay, this is not who we are, we can find out how to win? You know why? Because they don't think they can win.
That's probably right.
And they're so used to losing now that maybe they're right.
Yeah.
Smug.
We discussed this, again, on our Upset or Ruthless that came out today. The reason for this kind of lack of leadership on the Dems, they're scared of their grassroots. When their constituents are telling them, we want blood, we want violence, it's
or
time
communism.
to act. Yeah, they're willing to do anything, and none of them are willing to speak up because they're scared of their grassroots. And then further, you're seeing Ilhan Omar, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Her base wants that kind of viciousness, that dehumanization of conservatives, which is how we got in this place.
Yeah, and you agree with that. You just said, yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, look, she posted a video. Like, we just played some of her remarks. I can't read what was in this video that she posted. If you want to read it, you can go on Nancy Mace's Twitter feed, and she has the resolution, and it lists out everything said in this video about Charlie Kirk. But just to note how bad this video was, the video a sitting Congresswoman posted called him a reprehensible human being, a stochastic terrorist, and it went on and on and on to blame him for his own assassination. This is absolutely appalling. And when you look at the censure list, there have been 28 members of the House censured going back to 2000. And there are some bad actors on there. That's how I'll describe them, like Jamal Bowman, who pulled the fire alarm, Al Green for disrupting a joint session. You got Rashida Tlaib on there for false narratives regarding the Hamas attack on Israel, Adam Schiff. You got a bunch of bad actors. But if I could put a crown on someone's head and be, you are the queen of the most censured person in Congress, it would be Ilhan Omar. As bad as this list of items are, nothing is worse than celebrating the death of a young man who has 2 children. You belong nowhere near Congress. You should be censured. And this is a privilege resolution, which means it will come up before the end of this week. Do your job, Congress. Do your job, Democrats. Join and say, we will not tolerate this from a congressperson here. If this is just Republicans, I don't know what to say to you. Join with Republicans. Fix this.
Yeah. Look, 2 things. I think it's a fallacy that the grassroots base is sort of considered a heavyweight, because I see it as simply a very vociferous, tiny minority. It's like we always talk about, where 90% of the bile on Twitter is because of 10% of users or less, right? It's the loudest voices. It's not the most voices. But I'm not quite sure, however, why she continues to win her reelection. So clearly there's enough for her to win. And I wonder if there's just simply a buffet of socialism there in Minnesota or everywhere else, right? If someone's the best of what's around. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think her rhetoric and her actions, which to me speak louder than her sort of tepid apologies or comments that she feels, compassion for Charlie Kirk's widow now and children, that speaks louder. We know that there's an absolute poison there that has infected a lot. And you're right that the tone rolls downhill. So even if there's no leadership in the Democrat Party, regardless, Ilhan Omar's, for example, is having an effect on her constituency, and somehow that they're thinking that it's okay. And the second point is that the New York Times, for example, just ran this morning an article about saying the silencing of Charlie Kirk's critics, making the point that it was all free speech. There is a stark difference between the constitutionality of free speech and your comments against the government and accountability in this world and in our society for saying atrocious things. We all have morality clauses in our employment contracts. The reality is you can't say what you want. You can't behave as you want without consequences. So Ilhan Omar, there will be consequences to your violent and unacceptable rhetoric as a representative of the United States and Minnesota. Hopefully, her voters and her constituents now will see such and make her a has-been.
Yeah, I mean, Kaylee, you said something that made me think she does know what she's doing. And how do we know? Because she's been down this road before. When she made all those anti-Semitic, and she was censured for what she said, that Jewish hate that she expressed. Even then, it didn't stop her because she knows how to work the system and get out of it and hopefully get a few people on her side, because ultimately she wants to be seen as a victim.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.